It's time to set our bullet journals up for February, the second chapter of 2023. Hey friends, welcome back to Art and Alchemy. I hope you're having a good day. We do a lot of creative stuff on this channel which you definitely wouldn't want to miss. So do take a moment to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, which costs nothing but immensely supports the channel. First things first though, we'll start by reviewing the month of January. Before we move on to the next month's setup, it's super important to review the past month because this helps us improve and prepare for the next month and helps us keep a check on the direction that we're headed in. I've already set this up, so I'm just gonna give you guys a tour of the spread. We did Tulips theme for January, which I'll link in the description box below in case you missed it. It's a beautiful theme and watercolors just took it to another level. I'm now going to take out my monthly review prompt card. We made these review cards to help us keep up with reflections on daily, weekly, monthly and quarterly basis. You can check out my 2023 planning video to see how I made this, which again will be linked in the description box. I also made a free printable for these prompts available for you guys, so all you need to do is just print and cut them down to A6 size, which fit perfectly in your journal pocket. Check that out below for sure. On the left, I have a section for gratitude and learning where I'm going to write all the things I'm grateful for and all the lessons I learned this month. Next, on the right, we have a Dutch store with space for writing what worked, what didn't, and things to improve for next month. If you observe, I left good amount of space under each section so I don't run out of space when I'm writing my thoughts down. Next we have a check-in with myself, things to start, stop and continue, and a space to record my overall thoughts about the month. The right page is entirely for my highlights and accomplishments from this month. Go ahead and write down all of your accomplishments from this month, no matter big or small. Lastly, one important thing to remember about reflections, which I'm going to say exactly in Ryder Carroll's words, who's the creator of the bullet journal method. He says, approach reflections with a sense of curiosity instead of judgment. So don't be hard on yourself, guys. Don't judge and beat yourself up if you couldn't do something right this month. Just ask yourself this simple question: how can I do it better next time? That's it. That finishes the tour of our review spreads. Now let's move on to the February setup. For this month's theme, which I'll talk about in a little bit, I'm going to incorporate a few scrapbook styled elements. I'm also going to create some tabs for the spreads, so let's do that first. I'm starting by ripping this tan colored ruled paper, which you'll see me use a lot throughout this setup. I'm sticking this on the top and bottom to frame the spread. I also decided to keep things simple this time. I have a busy month ahead, so I needed something simple for me to set up each week. I then brought in some powder pink cardstock and cut it up to make it look like mail. I'm sticking it in the center, and this is where I'll write my title. The soft pink color might not show as much on camera, but it's a very pretty pink in reality. Coming to the font combinations, I'm using my letter stamps for the titles, and I'm pairing this with a scribbly cursive font that gives off a vintage vibe. By the way, all of the supplies will be linked below in the description box, so check that out if you're interested. Talking about the theme, as you all might know, February month is popular for Valentine's theme in the bullet journal community. February is all about love, and I wanted to go for a theme that focuses predominantly on self-love. I see letters as a beautiful language of love, and that's exactly what we're going for this month. This theme may look a little cliche to some because this is not the first time someone's attempting a letter theme for February. But I really liked the idea when it struck me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add my own flair to it. On the left side, I decided to create a tiny envelope with a cute letter inside. If you plan to recreate this theme, I made a free envelope template available for you guys, the link to which is in the description box below. Once you print it out, it'll look something like this. I deliberately positioned it on the corner so you can simply align it to the corner of your cardstock and quickly trace the template out. Also, this way you won't be wasting much of your precious papers. I'm now rounding the top corner with this corner punch. Now let's stick this in. I'm writing a quote on a piece of paper that says, "You don't have to be good enough for people to love you. Be good enough for yourself, for you to love you." Let's place this note in the envelope. I stamped the words "Letter to Self" on top. And now for the fun part, let's doodle some cute letters and envelopes to fill the spread in. I also cut out some doodles from a scrap piece of paper and stuck them over the cardstock for some interest. That finishes my cover page. Next up, we have a monthly calendar. This is where you add all your birthdays, appointments, deadlines, etc. You can also write down highlights from that day. I'm doing the same thing as the cover page and adding these ribbed edges on top and bottom. What I like the most about this ruled paper is that it instantly gives you the idea of a vintage letter. If you don't have something similar to this, you can DIY it by staining some ruled paper in coffee or using brown watercolors for the vintage look. I'm using the same pink cardstock for the calendar. It's already cut to size, so I just have to stick it in and add the numbers. This time I'm going for a different look for the calendar where I'm drawing these horizontal lines instead of a grid. I'm now adding the title on top and a nice quote that says, "You carry so much love in your heart, give some to yourself." I then added a section for important notes and I'm finishing it off with some doodles. Moving on, we have our monthly planning spreads. This is where I plan my month and list down my goals and tasks. On the left, I have an entire page for my monthly task dump. When I sit down to plan, my thoughts just flow and I simply note down all the tasks that come to my mind. I leave a lot of room for this section so I don't run out of space. Once I dump all my tasks here, I sort them out based on their importance and urgency. That's why you'll see I have two columns on the left marked as I and U for important and urgent tasks. Next, I have the week numbers on the right. I assign all the urgent tasks for the first week of the month so I get them out of my way and make space for important tasks, which are the ones that really matter. I find this system of dumping my tasks first and then sorting them out very helpful. Now on the right, I have my plans for February. I used a pink cardstock to write my goals. I'll use the space below for my weekly breakdown. When it comes to my monthly goals, these are just the broken down chunks of my main goals for 2023. Whatever your goals for the month are, make sure you're setting them intentionally. If you'd be interested in my monthly goal setting process, I shared that in depth in my January bullet journal setup video, so go check that out for sure. Also, I've begun to like this theme a lot more now. If you actually break this theme down, there aren't too many elements involved here, and yet the spreads look full and interesting. Since you'd be cutting and pasting stuff in, the spreads come together very quickly and effortlessly. To finish it off, you just have to add some doodles here and there, and the best thing about doodles is that they don't have to be perfect. They're bound to look cute anyway. So play around with the scrapbook elements and doodles and just have fun with it. In the next spread, we have a habit tracker on the left. You will eventually notice that my habit tracker this time is super skinny. When I reflected on my habits from January, they had a lot of empty spaces that make me sad at this point. While setting it up, I subconsciously knew that I wouldn't be able to do all of them each day because January was a busy month for me. February won't be any different from it, so I decided to keep things simple and therefore I'm limiting my habits to 3 only. If you're somebody who uses mini calendars for tracking habits, feel free to change it up. I find this habit tracker layout to work the best for me because it's simple both to set up and track. I'm using all this extra space beside it for reflections where I will make notes of my progress or things that I'd like to change next month and more. Now on the right, where I usually have my sleep tracker, I'm creating a spread to write down some self-love activities I can do throughout the month. Now again, I'm not trying to overwhelm myself with too many activities because I know I won't be able to do all of them. I'm assigning 4 simple activities for each week. I referred to some prompts on Pinterest for this, and I'll leave a link to the pin that I liked the most. It has a list of 15 different self-love activities which you can choose from according to your convenience. We're now finally setting up our weekly spread. For the first week of this month, I'm recreating a Dutch door weekly layout that I loved the most from the last month's spreads. It's simple, functional, aesthetic, all at the same time. By the way, don't forget to follow me on Instagram because I share my weekly setups there, and that way you could also support my work. The link to my Instagram handle is mentioned in the description box below, so do check that out. Also, feel free to tag me in your recreations if you post them online. I'd love to see them. Talking about the layout, I have sections for my priorities and tasks for the week on the left. I added the week 1 title in this fun way. Right side is where I have my daily entries. I have 3 spaces for them per page. Here I rounded the corners of the Dutch door and now I'm adding the days of the week. On the next page, I added a strip of pink cardstock for some interest. I will eventually add some doodles on top, but for now I'm stamping the dates in. I also have a huge section for my weekly review, which for me is a must-have. Now that the video is coming to an end, I'm really curious to know what you think about this theme. It is super easy and fun to recreate, so do give it a try. Also, comment your favorite aspect of this theme down below. And now, are you guys ready for the final flip through? Let's go! I absolutely enjoyed setting these spreads up for February. I now feel ready for the second chapter of 2023. Let's make it big and awesome together. Thank you so much for joining me in today's planning session and making it to the end. I'll be extremely grateful if you decide to join this creative community by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon. Don't forget to like and share the video with your friends and family. See you all again in my next video. Bye everyone!